This is Adam Gorney, Rivals.com, here with Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman. And Marcus, like we just said, that all your kids were signed. It was this is kind of a nice day to just kind of review the class and things. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, which is kind of interesting to me, is you get hired in early December, and that's when you have to hold on to the recruiting class, get those guys to stay. And a lot of those guys were locked in anyway, knew you, really respected you and stuff. But now you get to build that 2023 recruiting class from the ground up. How exciting is that? Is it a challenge that you're ready for? And how do you kind of look at that?
Well, we've been working on the 23 class from the moment I got here last year. And
Yeah.
so that's why you see defensively, we have quite a few commitments already. And those are guys that we've been working on for over a year. And so you're always working a year ahead. And so as we look at this, phase moving forward, we need to continue to, recruit on both sides of the ball for this 23 class. And we're already going to probably start getting in contact with 24 kids. And so the recruiting cycle is so far ahead, in terms of when you're contacting kids or when they can contact you. And it's about relationships now. It really is.
Brought in some heavy hitters on for assistant coaches, and the staff is still being filled out. But a lot of guys with NFL experience, a lot of guys who are highly respected in the game. How important was that as you filled out your staff to bring in those guys? And it did seem like maybe it's just by chance, but guys with pro level experience.
Yeah, I leaned on Tommy heavily for the offensive hires, and Tommy Reset is our offensive coordinator, and he comes from an NFL background, and we have a pro style offense. I know he wanted to bring in guys that have a good feel for that type of system, and I really leaned on our staff to bring me the top guys that they view will help us reach our goals. And then it was my job to interview them once they got here. And so we were looking for great people first, right? Great leaders of young men, relentless recruiters. We all have to be relentless recruiters. Not one guy on our staff cannot be a dynamic recruiter. And then, obviously we're looking at, hey, how well do they know the game? How well do they teach? And how well can they help our young people succeed?
Early enrollees, one of the beauties of an early signing period is it's become pretty accepted that you're going to have guys on campus. How helpful is that for you to just really get a few, like a jump start, a few extra weeks with guys, get them on campus, get them familiar with everything instead of bringing them in later?
It's funny. We just had a conversation about this yesterday. One of the reasons I decided not to come to Notre Dame was I wanted to graduate school early. And at that time, back in 2003, they were not doing that. Well, you fast forward to 2022, and we had 12 guys that came into school early in January. And so it's starting to become a trend that you see more often than not. Kids are coming into school mid-semester and trying to come here and have a jump start to their academic requirements and those type of things, but also to get a jump start in football. But I still believe this. I still believe, probably other than a quarterback, if you're going to play as a freshman and you come in June, you got a great chance to do it. You come in January, you got a great chance to do it. So I don't know if coming in early is going to give you a better opportunity to play as a freshman. I think those guys that are just going to play as a freshman come in when they come in. Michael Mayer, a third-year starter, and he came in June. And so I think it's just becoming a trend now that more kids are getting out of high school. They're even reclassifying, as you're starting to see now, but coming into school early.
We were laughing about this earlier yesterday. Sean McVay and Zach Taylor, two Super Bowl coaches, are in our rankings, but they weren't like you. I mean, they weren't near 5-star. Were you mad at us for not making you a 5-star? And that picture we have of you, man, you got that mean mug on. You're ready to go.
Our players now still use that against me. Like, who is this
Yeah.
guy that had earrings in his ears and bald head, was mean mugging, and that was part of the position. Playing linebacker back in the early 2000s, man, you had to be a little bit tough, and that was all part of it. But no, I don't blame you guys. Obviously, hey, I was ranked right where I needed to be. And,
Right. I think it turned out pretty well, right?
Hey, listen, if I was a 5-star, I'll still be playing football like some of those other guys,
Right. Marcus, traditional recruiting territories for Notre Dame. It is national. It has to be. You're not going to fill out your entire class at a national level with local kids. Is that kind of your philosophy? And do you kind of still hit those areas? Southern California, You go to the Northeast a lot, all over the place. Or do you kind of see some places that maybe have been undervalued by you guys over the past few years, and that maybe you could hit harder?
Well, I think we still have to recruit the areas that have been good to Notre Dame. As you had said, the West Coast, California, we've been good in Arizona, but really on the East Coast, from Boston to Jersey to Philly area, that has been really good to us and to our program. And I think we have to continue to do it. You talk about Hawaii, we got to continue to do it. I've never done that. And that's something we're going to have to do because it's been really good to Notre Dame. And so, but as you said, we are truly coast to coast, right? And I think we can't forget that there's areas that are hot and areas that we have to make sure we have coaches that are familiar with those coaches in that area. But we'll go wherever we need to go. We got a kid on our team from Germany, so we'll go wherever we need to go to find the right players that fit this place. And that's what I'll always say is this place is so unique. And if you don't value your education and you don't value life after football, this place is going to be the best place for you. And so we have to find those kids that are the best football players in the country that value the most meaningful degree that you can get, in my beliefs, in this country, and that want to be pushed in all areas of their life, because that's what's going to happen when you come to Notre Dame.
Something that has consumed college football and college football recruiting and how it's handled is transfer portal. I don't know if you guys experience it the same way as some other schools will utilize it or not because of academic restrictions, completely honest. Is it something that really you just kind of brush over? Is it something that you really need to accept and move through? How do you kind of look at that?
Oh, we're embracing it for sure. You
Yeah.
just seen we got a kid, Brandon Joseph from Northwestern, in the transfer portal, and but still we have to find the right fit. You know, the kid that's coming from an institution to Notre Dame has to have classes that are going to transfer over and fit here at Notre Dame. And so that's what we're seeing, is that we can't just take any kid from any university that's in the transfer portal and say, okay, hey, he's going to come here and make it work at Notre Dame. And we don't see a lot of our kids aren't leaving to enter the transfer portal unless they've had their degree, or unless they say, hey, I want to go somewhere and probably get some more playing time, because maybe I'm not playing as much as I want. But a lot of these kids do not leave without this degree, because you choose Notre Dame because you understand the power of this degree. You understand what this degree is going to do for you and what your 4 years at this place is going to do for you forever in your life. And that's what we're going to have to continue to preach, continue to recruit, because there's going to be times where these young people do not get everything they want instantly. And so we have to make sure they understand you chose Notre Dame to play at the highest level, to get developed for the NFL, but also because you know you're going to get a degree that will take care of you for truly the rest of your life.
Perfect. That is Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman and former 6.0 4-star Marcus Freeman here with Adam Gorney for Rivals.com.